Imagine standing in the middle of a scorching, barren wasteland. The ground is cracked, the heat is suffocating, and there is absolutely no sign of life. Now blink your eyes, and suddenly, that same dead earth is erupting with roses. Water is gushing out of the sand. It's not a mirage, it's a complete reversal of reality.
That is quite the image to start with. It sounds like a dream sequence, or maybe the end of a long drought.
Exactly. That's the vision Isaiah paints in chapter 35. It's this incredible promise of restoration. He talks about the desert rejoicing and the weak hands getting strong again. It's almost ecstatic, blind eyes opening, deaf ears unstopped. It's a picture of a world made right.
It's beautiful. It feels like the ultimate happily ever after. But I know this text, and I know what happens next. And that's what makes this section of Isaiah so jarring. Because you have this glorious poetry in chapter 35, and then you turn the page to chapter 36, and reality hits you like a freight train.
Right? It's like waking up from that beautiful dream to find a literal army at your front door.
Specifically, the Assyrian army. And not just any army. This is the superpower of the day. Chapter 36 isn't poetry. It's history. King Sennacherib has already crushed the fortified cities of Judah. Now, he's staring down Jerusalem. The contrast is brutal. One moment you're hearing about a highway of holiness where no lion shall pass, and the next moment, there's a very real predator outside the walls.
And that predator has a voice. Let's talk about this character, Rabshakeh. He's not the king, but he's the king's mouthpiece, right?
He is the field commander, but honestly, he sounds more like a master of psychological warfare. He doesn't just attack the walls, he attacks their minds. He comes out to meet Hezekiah's officials, and he starts dismantling their hope, piece by piece.
It is chilling how effective he is. He starts by mocking their alliances. He basically says, "Who are you trusting? Egypt?" And he compares Egypt to a broken reed that pierces your hand if you lean on it. Which, to be fair, was a pretty accurate geopolitical assessment at the time.
It was, but then he goes for the jugular. He pivots from politics to theology. He asks, "Are you trusting in your God?" And then he twists the narrative. He claims that Hezekiah has actually offended God by removing the high places. He's gaslighting them. He's trying to make them feel like their own religious reforms are the reason they're in danger.
That's the part that got me. But then he takes it a step further. He claims, boldly, that God told him to come and destroy the land. Can you imagine the confusion that would sow among the soldiers on the wall? Wait, is God actually on their side?
That's the terrifying brilliance of it. He's weaponizing their own faith against them. And notice the language tactic. The Jewish officials beg him, "Please, speak to us in Aramaic. We understand it. Don't speak Hebrew." They are terrified the common people on the wall will hear and panic.
And Rabshakeh refuses.
He refuses loudly. He basically shouts, "I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to the men on the wall who are going to starve and suffer with you." He uses incredibly graphic, visceral imagery about the famine that's coming, eating dung and drinking urine. He wants to incite a mutiny.
It's pure terror tactics. He's offering them a deal too. Surrender and you can eat from your own vine and fig tree. It sounds so reasonable compared to the starvation he's threatening. It's the classic make a deal with the devil moment.
It really is. He's offering a false peace. Remember chapter 35? The true promise was water in the desert and everlasting joy. Rabshakeh offers a counterfeit version. "I'll take you to a land just like yours, with grain and wine. But the price is slavery and exile."
So you have these two voices. You have the prophet Isaiah in chapter 35 saying, "Be strong, do not fear, your God will come." And then you have Rabshakeh in chapter 36 shouting, "Don't let Hezekiah deceive you, God isn't coming to save you." It's a battle of narratives.
That's the core tension. Who do you listen to when the enemy is louder than the promise? And what I find fascinating is the response of the people, or rather the lack of one.
The silence.
Yes, the text says, "But they remained silent and answered him not a word, because the king had commanded, 'Do not answer him.'"
That feels so heavy. Is it a silence of fear or a silence of discipline?
I think it's a mix, but mostly discipline. In the face of overwhelming noise and intimidation, sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is simply not engage with the lie. They didn't argue. They didn't panic publicly. They took the threat, tore their clothes in grief, and went to the king.
It's a cliffhanger, really. We are left standing there with them. We have the promise of the blooming desert in our back pocket, but the reality of the Assyrian army in our face, it forces us to ask, is the highway of holiness from chapter 35 real, or is Rabshakeh's threat the final word?
Exactly. It challenges the listener, whether back then or us today. When your reality looks like a siege, can you still believe in the blossoming rose? It's easy to believe in chapter 35 when life is good. It's much harder when you're living through chapter 36.
A profound place to pause. We're left in the tension between the promise of salvation and the presence of the enemy.
And usually, that's exactly where faith is forged. Not in the garden, but on the wall, deciding whose voice to trust. If you have been blessed by this, please like, subscribe, and share this joy with others. God bless.